Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Yo Me Curo Sola in Spanglish. I am so excited to be here today. So today, guys, we're going to do it a little bit different. We're gonna kick it off with my amigasa, Liliana, explaining the topic for today. So take it away, amiga.
Gracias, amiga. Hoy vamos a hablar de un tema que a todos nos va a hacer así como like, ay, cabrón. It's going to give you that little feeling in the stomach of not sure if I'm ready. Pero hoy vamos a hablar de los espejos más antiguos de nuestra vida. Mamá y papá. And before you get your chones all bunched up, before you get all riled up, if I don't want to talk about that, or ay, Dios mío, ¿qué van a decir mi mamá y papá? Take a minute. Consciously move into the space of unconditional love and compassion. No estás aquí para justificar, ni tampoco para minimizar everything that you have experienced, good or bad, or neutral, but rather to see things with clarity. Y hoy vamos a mirar a mamá y a papá como lo que también fueron, niños. Niños que crecieron con miedo, con heridas, con historias que no siempre pudieron sanar. Ellos no nacieron siendo padres, no nacieron siendo los adultos que tú conociste en tu niñez o que hoy conoces. Llegaron al mundo como niños con heridas, miedo y aprendizajes propios. Y muchas de las veces no tuvieron un guía y nadie más con quien hablar sobre esas heridas. So for some of you, this episode might trigger you a little bit. It might bring out the deep pain, the anger, the rage. Y está bien si no estás lista para escuchar todo este episodio, para ver a tus padres como el espejo que son. Y no los necesitas que ver en este momento. Your safety and respect for your process comes first. So remember, this is your journey. El espejo seguirá esperando ahí donde él está ahorita puesto hasta que tú estés lista. Don't force forgiveness or understanding. Simplemente observa. Escucha con compasión, escucha con amor y toma nota de qué es lo que te está diciendo tu cuerpo. Because that energy that's being moved, something moves in your stomach, your heart, and your body, algo te está tratando de avisar. You don't need to figure it out right now. Just make note of it. Amiga, let's kick it off.
Dang. I was just like, se me revolvió aquí adentro. I was like, yeah, that's a heavy one. That's a heavy one. I think most of us can like relate to that and y acordarnos como, you know, cuando hemos sido bien como judgmental with our parents. And oh my gosh, like I have so many experiences. I have so many stories that I can think of, you know, cuando like les echaba la culpa por todo lo que me pasaba en la vida. Literal, like I gotta take it, like they fucked me up when I was a kid, you know? It was like it was horrible the way like I blamed them for everything. And it wasn't until, you know, experiences happened and I had experiences with my own children and life and lessons that I realized like they're just people, you know, trying to do the best that they could. They did the best they could with what they had. Like, you know, no creo que ninguno de nuestros padres haya hecho cosas con intenciones, específicamente si venimos de padres, you know, inmigrantes que vienen con otra mentalidad, ¿verdad? Y quieren hacer a veces cosas como más como del rancho y pues nosotros aquí estamos, you know, growing up, you know, in Gen Xers as these, you know, confused Mexican American kids, and now we have parents that are trying to like tell us about the rancho, and I was like, no, I have no fucking idea about the rancho. So, no, so, you know, y poder entender esa parte, pues, you know, para eso tenemos que hacer conciencia porque ha de haber sido bien cabrón para ellos, you know, to go through all that, go through go immigrate to a country that, it was literally, the line that they had to cross, but it was a different culture, it was a different language, que no sabían, no entendían las leyes, no entendían nada. Y así de todas maneras salieron adelante. Y así nos sacaron adelante. Y así nos dieron like más que lo que ellos tuvieron. Like, when I started thinking about it like that, I'm like, how can I ever even be angry at them? I'm so fucking proud of them and I'm so amazed by them. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful que no se rajaron y que dijeron, juntos aquí nos quedamos y juntos aquí la hacemos y vamos a salir adelante. And, I remember my dad saying that. And so, I mean, yeah, forgiving them was like easier than I thought because there was really nothing to forgive. Like thank you. If anything, like thanking them, like came more into me. ¿Verdad? Se sentía like better, like lighter. Yes,
So
Camila.
what made you realize, or what took place that made you see your mom and dad como humanos?
Okay. So this is a hard one. Okay. I think I'm ready to talk about it. So
You take a deep breath in. I can feel
you can feel it, right?
emotions coming up. Yeah.
So I think that the moment where like I humanized my parents was when I come from a family of 5 children, and it's 3 girls, and then the 2 youngest are boys, and those were that was like the boy that my dad always wanted. My brother Arturo, his name is Arturo, like my dad, and he goes by Junior. Entonces, when he was about 13 years old, like he got sick, and he was diagnosed with, whoa, that was hard. He was diagnosed with schizophrenia, and it was the beginning of like the dissolution. I feel like it was like the dissolution of our family, because it was like feeling like a member of our family was like being ripped, from us. And from there on, he was in and out of mental institutions, pretty much all his life. And I remember my dad fighting for him so much. Like, I remember when I was 20 years old, my dad decided to move. He had this idea to move to Oklahoma and take him with him, because he was being like really disruptive, at home. And it was too much. It was too much for all of us. And he said, I'm going to take him, and, yo encuentro trabajo. Y allá encuentro una escuela. Y a ver cómo le hago, pero yo le voy a buscar ayuda. And my dad decided like to take him to Oklahoma, and it couldn't have, like, he didn't see that it couldn't have been better, because, he was in a state where he could get everything that he needed. Like, taking him to Oklahoma was like the wrong move. But I think it was something that my dad needed to go through, because I think he needed to prove to himself, that he was a good dad. But I remember after being there a while, probably about 6 months, I remember he called my mom and he told my mom, así están mal las cosas y no lo puedo controlar y se me sale de la escuela y no sé qué hacer. Y mi mamá le dijo, regrésate, regrésate, ¿qué estás haciendo allá? I'm sorry. And thank you. And I remember my mom, she told him, like, regrésate, aquí, we'll figure it out. No había cell phone, so he couldn't keep us, and, he couldn't keep in touch and tell us what was going on. And he took the bus all the way from Oklahoma home with my brother having a full-blown episode. And he got home, and my dad looked like an old man, like he had aged like so much, like como que the life had been taken out of him, and he looked broken, and he looked sad, and he looked like defeated, and he looked like he didn't look like the dad that I knew, like the strong dad, like the like my hero. He didn't look like that. He just looked like this defeated human. And then he just kind of like hugged my mom and like he's like, I can't do it anymore. And I don't know why I was there to witness that moment, but that was the moment that I said like they're good people. Like they're good people, and this has been like the part of their lives that broke them. And I was able to witness it. And I saw their evolution through it. And my brother has been in a mental institution he's probably going on 20 years now, and we don't have any contact with him. And that's another story. But that was I think that was like the moment where I humanized my parents, and I'm just like, they're just people and they're just trying to do the best they can. And, and as a matter of fact, yesterday, when I was talking to you earlier, that was one of the things that we talked about, my dad and I, because we had this really deep conversation. And I told my dad, and I said, one of the things that I admire about you, lo que admiro de usted es que, like, nunca se rajó, like, nunca nos dejó, nunca dijo, pues a ver cómo le hacen, pues a ver qué pasa, pues a ver cómo le hacen con mi hijo, porque pues yo necesito trabajar. Usted nunca lo dejó. Usted siempre dijo, él es mi hijo. Si yo no lo ayudo, ¿quién lo va a ayudar? ¿Cómo se va a ir a la calle? Él está enfermo, y yo sentía como los gritos de él, como, like, help me, somebody help me. And I remembered, and I told my dad, papá, pero en todo eso, yo aprendí tanto de usted. Yo aprendí a ser mejor ser humano, yo aprendí a ser mejor madre, yo aprendí a querer luchar más por mis hijas. Yo aprendí tantas cosas de usted, y ahora yo le quiero decir a usted, like, ya perdónese, como lo que pasó con él era su destino. Y ya usted se tiene que, like, give yourself grace y perdónese, porque esta parte de la vida fue una parte que no nomás le dolió a usted, me dolió a mí, le dolió a todos el resto de sus hijos, y a todos nos hizo algo, a todos nos cambió, a todos nos transformó. A veces nos hundió, a unos nos hundió, y a unos, y después crecimos, y todos pasamos por lo mismo. Y le digo, pero ahora, las cosas tienen que cambiar. Ustedes tienen que perdonarse. Ustedes tienen que saber que yo lo miro a usted y a mi mamá como mis héroes. Ustedes hicieron lo mejor que pudieron con bien poquito. Ustedes eran gente inmigrante, gente humilde, venimos de nada, no teníamos nada, una casita con una recámara donde vivíamos 7 personas y éramos tan felices. And I'm like, so, si usted no se ha perdonado, escuchen lo que le he dicho y perdónese. Yo lo quiero tanto, y usted merece mucho más de lo que usted piensa que merece. And I had the conversation with him yesterday, which was
Diga de eso con tu papá y tu hermano.
I think I was 20. I was 20 years old. I was about to turn 21 years old. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, because I remember shortly after that, like, I remember I wanted to get married so bad. I remember, now I see, like, mi prisa de casarme era like salir. Like, I didn't want to, like, it hurt too much, and I kind of wanted to run away, honestly. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to run away. And I thought, like, como buena mexicana, que no, pues me tengo que casar, and it's not that I regret that moment. I just think that that situation propelled me into, like, what happened with the rest of my life. So that was kind of interesting too.
So that's how your story changed.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. All right.
What about you, amiga?
Interesting.
A ver, cuéntame tú.
Desde que era una teenager, I always saw mi papá, like, muy fuerte de carácter. And I saw the dynamic between him and my mom cuando discutían como pareja, and the things he would tell her. And that just enraged me. Era como, poner una piedrita de fuego cada vez que estaban discutiendo. Y no era de chingazos, no era de nada de eso, era de que my mom estaba en friega aquí en la cocina, haciendo todo, limpiando la casa, teniendo todo listo, my dad would come home, sit, watch TV or go outside, nunca la ayudaba. Y yo veía que mi mamá constantemente estaba en chinga. And then I'd be like, what the fuck? So any type of little discusión que había entre ellos dos that I witnessed was like a boulder being put into my little jar.
Yes.
So I always felt that I would bump heads with my dad. Siempre. Y tenía coraje, rencor por cómo trataba a mi mamá. But then one day in my probably mid-30s, I just started to look at the fact that he was getting older. Porque mis papás me tuvieron when they were in their mid-40s.
Oh, wow, okay.
So, I mean, mi mamá estaba cerca de que a ella le iba a salir una muchacha porque le salieron puros muchachos. And she was like, fuck this shit. Hasta que me salga la huerca. Y pues, of course, I took my time, you know, because aquí llegó la princesa when she was, I think, like 42, 43 years old. Y mi papá, pues, tendría como 45, 46 años. So he was in his 70s when I realized, shit, mi papá está envejeciendo. And I started to look at him and go, why am I angry at him? Where did he learn all of these things? Porque yo todo lo que aprendí, lo aprendí de libros, lo aprendí viendo a mis colegas del trabajo, aprendí viendo estos public speakers and all these other things. So it's like, todo lo demás lo aprendí de mi casa, de mis papás, de mis hermanos, de mis experiencias con otros jóvenes, ¿verdad? Con mis amigos, con maestros. ¿Y el qué? So it's when I took that pause that I started to look at his childhood. Ni mi mamá ni mi papá terminaron la primaria. Hence their desire for all of us to get a college education. Mi papá grew up without a dad. Mi mamá igual. Decían, el papá es prestado. Because both men had their wives. And both of these men had multiple women en el pueblo. Y tú sabes que en esos tiempos, we're talking about 1910, 1920, no había un valor para la mujer. So they grew up without a consistent father figure. Y always saw their moms struggle, echándole ganas y luchando. So going through that process of understanding their childhood and what they were raised with made me change my perspective on how I saw both of them.
Okay.
I started to look at them through the eyes of compassion versus hurt. It doesn't mean that I dealt with the hurt. It doesn't mean that I was aware of what they were mirroring back to me. But I let love take over. Y me dije, algún día no los voy a tener conmigo. Could be today. Could be que no amanecen mañana. It could be that no amanecen in 10 years, right? No sé. But whatever time I have left, I want it to be peaceful. And so that's when I started to shift that perspective. Y todo eso cambió la dinámica because as my dad did age, he required medication for high blood pressure y todo eso, y se ponía terco que no quería ir al doctor. And considering that, you know, my oldest brother's a doctor, right? It's like, tenía que luchar con él y lidiar con él. But I did it with a lot of love and a lot of compassion.
Okay.
Y siempre me hacía caso, y aunque me renegaba y me rezongaba y la madre, that anger that I had built over the years with him, especially as a teenager, and I just carried it on, I just put it to the side. and I let love guide me. Now, what's interesting is that when you look at my mom and the relationship she and I had, as a teenager, ella era la que metía las manos al fuego por mí. Like, déjala salir, está joven, está que bailar y disfrutar y conocer gente, right? And so, seeing how her and my dad siempre estaban viviendo esa dinámica of, yo mantengo la casa y tú la limpias y tú haces todo y tú estás en chinga constantemente, right? I had compassion for her and at the same time anger because I saw how tired she was. I saw the weight that she carried on her shoulders to make sure that todos los huercos were eating and having all their meals in laundry clothes. Y luego que mi papá trabajaba en un taller. So, the clothes came back llena de aceite, llena de tierra, lodo, donde anduviera. Y ahí está mi mamá lavando, right? Trying to get every stain off. So I grew up with a lot of compassion towards her. She was always very soft. And until I became a teenager, I think I showed her how to talk back because that's when she started talking back to my dad.
Oh, really?
So le saqué la rebeldía. But what's interesting is that after my dad passed away, I saw my mom change. Y como de que entró en una fase de que por fin she was independent. Por fin, she was just responsible for herself. So my mom became a rebel. Se discutía conmigo por cosas de religión o porque no hacía esto, no hacía el otro. And it just started to escalate more and more and more and more. And things would get to a point to where it's like, Amá, hay que llevarla al doctor. Amá, hay que hacer esto. And it turned into, a mí no me van a decir qué hacer. Yo no quiero ir. And I'd be like, okay. I didn't recognize that version of my mom. So I actually had to get one of my brothers, the one that's right before me, deal with her. And be like, dude, cada vez que yo presento algo o digo algo, I get my fucking ass chewed out a mis 40 y tantos años de edad. Not doing this shit. It's you, dude. It's you. So, aunque todavía en esa etapa la veía con amor, it was happening as I was awakening. That last piece. So that was me drawing my boundary of, I see your pain. I understand it. I empathize with it. But that is your pain. And I'm not going to allow you to push that shit onto me. So I'm going to let you deal with the one that you are willing to listen to and the one you are willing to have a conversation with y no rayarle la madre. So through that love and through that compassion that I had early on, it got me through this wonderful age and era of her being 80-something years old, gracias a Dios. And it is exactly what has gotten me through today. Okay. Still treating her with love and still treating her with compassion. Regardless of what she does or what she says or how she agrees or disagrees with me, there's still that level there. And there's still that level of respect. So, así más o menos pasó con mis papás.
Okay. I mean, I think that que encontrar forgiveness for our parents, like, I think that probably ends up to be like one of the hardest lessons in life too, because I think we're just supposed to be judgmental of our parents, until we become parents and we go through our own experiences. So I feel like we also have to have compassion for us also. Like, don't be so hard on you. Like, everybody goes through that criticism. Yo una cosas que he aprendido también me han, like, now I see them as like these blessings that I never thought were blessings. Because my parents and both of my parents have been living with me probably for, I don't know, probably a little over 10 years now. And it was difficult. Like, I don't think I've ever talked about the difficulties of sharing a home because with your parents, because it hasn't always been like rainbows and sunshines. Like, it's people now that like I need to learn how to live with, and how to share, and how to do all these things. And now they're aging, and now they're changing, and now they have like this attitude. And now I'm just like, like, they deserve it. Just, if you're grumpy today, like, be grumpy today. If you don't want to talk to anybody, don't talk to anybody today. I'm not going to be like, oh, are you okay? Are you okay? What can I do? Like, and allowing them to have their own space, because they're also their own people. And like, I have this agreement with them. Like, if you need something, let me know. Like, I help them with their doctor's appointments, and I do everything that I can for them. Um, I don't do everything because they're still independent, but I know when the time comes, like, I will also take that responsibility, because I want to have that honor. I think it's an honor to do that, for the people that care for you. If if you're open to doing that, and if you are emotionally, safe to do that also. And for me, it's become more like that, like just an observation of who they have become as they've aged. And I do it with, like, I try to always do it without any judgment, even though I'm a human being, and sometimes I do judge them, and I'm like, what the fuck are they doing that for, But I work on that. Like, I work on that, and I work on, like, being kind to them, and I work on, teaching them, to be healthy, and to move their bodies, and, to do all the things, to incorporate some of the techniques that I do use in my life, to be well. It doesn't always turn out as good, but because of their beliefs and stuff, but I do my best. But I do, like, everything that happens now happens with a lot of compassion, you know? Even the things that we don't agree on, I'm just like, I don't agree with that. Well, whatever. That's your opinion, Even with some of the people, I'm like, are you sure you want to be friends with them? I don't think they're really like with my mom. I'm like, I'm not sure she's a really good friend. And then she's like, no, pero si, oh, no, pues usted sabrá, pues usted sabe, usted su, su discernimiento. I totally see it. De quererlos sin juzgarlos, y de entenderlos sin criticarlos, porque también entiendo esa parte de donde vinieron fue muy traumática for them. It was so traumatizing. Just hearing about it traumatizes me.
So whenever you learned about their niñez, is there any wound that you saw, or any type of experience that you saw in their childhood that they repeated as adults?
Yes. I noticed with my dad, I think it was like extreme aggression and violence. When he was a kid, when he was little growing up, his dad like hit him a lot, and there was just a lot of violence, like, from a very young age. And I witnessed that, as his daughter. I think that he worked on it. He worked really hard on it, but I could see it, not so much in us, in the girls, but I could see it with his sons. Growing up, she also grew up in a lot of violence, and like domestic violence with her dad, and witnessing a lot of domestic violence against her mom, my grandma. And I know it damaged her, but I think she's not at that point of her life where she can own it and be like, this is what it did to me. She kind of says, like, well, it just happened, and I don't think it did anything, but it did. It did, like, all these things, like quieter. Like, she's very quiet. She's very submissive. She's very like now, as she's getting older, like, she kind of stands up for herself a little bit more, but throughout life, yeah, very submissive. Like, my dad would get angry, and his voice would go really high, and she would go lower, and she would almost shrink. And
they had to balance, right? The energy. They had to balance the energy between the two.
I mean, my dad is like fire, and my mom is like not, And I don't know. Sometimes I wonder, and I'm like, how did you guys meet? Like, I mean, I know how they met, but what attracted you to my dad? And maybe it was that, and he was like completely
What made
opposite.
you say yes?
I know. I'm like, how could you keep up with him? Like he was like, él era era bailador, él bailaba, él cantaba, él era artista, and my mom was very quiet, and so,
Maybe you
like,
should have said, mamá, ¿cuánto le pagaron a mis abuelitos para que se casara con este hombre?
I mean, my dad was like so handsome and beautiful, and I think that he's probably his looks too. I think they probably had a little bit to do with it, you know. He's good looking, but yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting to see that his wounds, not his unhealed wounds, continue to affect us, and even like another generation, you know, because I still see it in that generation. I see it now, and I'm just like, it wasn't as severe, but I could see the imprint. I could see the rasguños. I could see it. I could see it in my children, and I could see it in my siblings' children, and I could see something like a trace of that, you know. So it's kind of interesting. I didn't understand how I could see it, but they couldn't. I couldn't understand how I could see things when I was like 7 years old and 8 years old, like stop having kids, and they couldn't see it. And it made me angry. I'm like, why don't you know? I think it made me angry, and it made me confused that I was younger, and I knew what they should have already known. And then it kind of did this thing to me where I'm like, but they're the people that are supposed to be teaching me. And then it kind of made me aware of that. El ejemplo. And I didn't know what that was back then, but it made me like, I was like, oh shit, like these are the people that are, you know, that have been raising me and doing all this. And I think what happened to me was that everything that they did, I started doing the opposite. As I got older, and as I moved through life, when I got married and raised my children, I just remember wanting to do everything the opposite, because in my mind, it was kind of like, I can fix the things that they did wrong, and I could just do them a different way. I didn't know why I was doing that. It didn't make sense to me, but I knew that if I did like this thing, like for example, instill education in my girls, it would have a different consequence than not instilling education in your kids, because that's kind of what we got, right? And so I did that, and then the consequence was different, you know, because then, you know, my daughters became, you know, college educated, and they did all these things that I wasn't able to do because supposedly because they didn't teach it to me. And so I did that, and then I was just like, you know, the American dream and buying a house and doing all that, and I was just like, well, they did this thing when they were older. I can do it when I'm younger, because I can do it. And so I went and I started doing all these things at a really young age, like buying a house, like, you know, buying a car and having good credit and taking care of all these things. And then I was kind of like, little, I did it better than you. And I did that a lot. And I think I got some kind of pleasure, you know, like to see them like, oh, like, I thought I was looking for them for kind of like, I think I felt like I was looking for confirmation that I was a good daughter, that I was doing what I was supposed to do. But I think really what I was doing was kind of shoving it in their face. Like, you didn't do this, so I did it because I can, because I'm better. I did. That was horrible. That was horrible. That was a horrible part of me that I outgrew, luckily and thankfully.
Why do you think you had the need to prove that, though?
I don't know. I think because I think I felt the need to. I think I just wanted them to see me. I think I wanted to see them to see me like what I thought I should be seen, like a chingona. It was important for me that they saw me that way, that they saw me like this, like really successful daughter, you know, because I really wanted to be a really successful daughter. Like I work hard to be a successful daughter because I thought that's what they wanted. Isn't that interesting? Like, just to kind of recount on that, like just to look back at it, I think it's interesting because it says so much about like the different phases that I went through. My anger, and then my revenge, and then, and then my softness later on in life. But I had to go through all that to get soft, like, still working on that. I think obviously, like, I got really emotional, when I talked about that part, because when I talked about my brother, because yeah, it has been the thing in my life that I think it hurt so much that like I took like this hurt and I turned it into something else, but that something else wasn't fulfilling. It was like I took all those emotions, like I was angry and I was hurt and I was sad and I was like I felt like somebody cut me, like I felt like I was missing a limb. I felt like it was such an interesting set of feelings that I had, like, because they were like unresolved feelings. It was like this little boy that I talked about, these little kids that I talk about, he was that little kid. So that little boy was like my little boy. He wasn't my brother. He became a child that I helped raise as a little girl. And that happening to me was like somebody taking my child. And I had a really hard time dealing with those emotions because I knew he wasn't my child and I didn't know why it hurt me the way it hurt me. And I stuffed him down. I just stuffed him down because we couldn't talk about it, because every time we talked about it, like in our family, like the vibration like lowered and everybody got sad, and then we couldn't even look at each other anymore. It was like, it was like sadness like poured, So yo era la que like I would be like, oh, Junior used to do that, and then everybody would be like, oh yeah, okay, oh yeah, he did, and then like just forget about it. And I'm like in my mind, I'm just like, he's not dead, he's alive. Like, why can't we talk about him? But he was so hurt. It's still to this day. And I saw the pain in my dad, and I see the pain in my mom. My mom it's really hard on her, and we can't talk about it. And I'm just like, I don't know how to not talk about things. I don't know how to hold that. I can't hold space for that energy anymore. So then I say things like, well, you guys should probably go talk to somebody. Like, go talk to somebody that can help you with those emotions, because, I'm not a therapist. And even if I was, I couldn't treat you. You're my family. I want you guys to talk to other people to like help you see that you're not monsters. And it's okay, like to feel the way you feel. And I have to work with that. And then I have my siblings, and a bunch of other things happen to them. And, due to that, and they're just like, I can't, don't mention it. Because it's almost like pouring like cold water. Like, don't, like, I can't imagine it. If I imagine that, like, it fucks with me. So I got to put it like way back somewhere. I got to hide it. I got to put it in deep. And that's kind of like where like I'm at, where the rest of my siblings are. And it's hard, and it's hard to observe, and it's hard to kind of digest, and it's hard to move around, because all I want to do is just like help them heal those wounds. But it's not my
So
job.
It's still in progress, en otras palabras.
It's still, oh my gosh. For real, for sure. for sure. I'm in progress.
Bueno. It's something that you're aware.
Yeah.
Right? It's within your awareness. And como te he dicho siempre, todo está dentro de ti.
Mm-hmm.
To work through it. And I'm sure when you go back and watch this video and do your edits, there's probably something more that's going to be triggered. Como siempre.
Como siempre. But I can't stop saying it. Like, I can't stop saying it. Like, this is like the most healing thing for me. Like, it's the most healing thing. I've done therapy, and I've I've done, things to try to open up my awareness, and I've experienced, and I'm just like, this is the thing, like, to see me, it's so powerful to see me, literally it. This isn't about, and you came up with a name to do this thing for me so I can learn this thing, so I can learn that I could do this thing. And I was just like, yeah, let's do this thing. But I thought it was going to be so broad. And then it turned out to be that I am doing that thing that I always wanted to see in somebody else. Like, how do you heal that? How does it look to heal? Aren't you sad? Aren't you embarrassed? And I'm just here, like, I'm all those things. I'm sad. I was sad. I was depressed. I was embarrassed. I was all those things, but I still had the courage, because it takes courage. I just had to find the courage to say, if I can do this, then then I snowball. And then I did, and then I did. And then it wasn't and then it stopped being scary. And then it kind of turned into something like, oh, it's challenging. And now I get to do this. And now I get, And then it turned out that just yesterday I was out of this conversation with my dad. Like, it was just a fucking deep conversation. Like, deep, like, and then somewhere in my head I thought, fuck, I should have recorded this, because for any other purpose, so I can have it from me, so I can look at me and see what I triggered in this, like, man that I had put up in this pedestal to be perfect, and to be, like, strong, and to be, like, brave, and not to break. And I stirred that up in him. And I want to see myself, I would have wanted to see myself one day, to see how I did that, because I think that was really powerful, And then I realized, like, I'm fucking powerful. Like, I can do things that not very many people can do. Like, just my mere
Our
presence.
words are energy. Our presence is energy. Our movement is energy. Todo.
And it's amazing.
So, vamos a hablar un poquito de tu mamá.
A ver.
Cuando miras a tu mamá como el espejo,
Sí.
what did you learn emotionally about things like el amor, self-care, or hasta cómo te hablas?
Unfortunately, I didn't. My mom has always been like, she's tried her best to be like a good mom, but I think that her experience about being an immigrant, like, did something to her, like it does to many other immigrant mothers, where she spends so much of her time, like, not at home, because she was working a lot. She worked a lot. Like, she like, the time that I got most excited when she would come home really, really sad, saying que me descansaron. Like, I would just be like, wow, like, yes. And then she would be like, no. And then I would be like, why not? Then you could take it to I know. And then I was just like, but now you can take it, podemos ir a la playa, y podemos ir al parque, y nos puede llevar en. And then she's like, sí, pero necesito buscar trabajo. No puedo estar sin trabajar. And I was just like, why is she, like, not excited about this, And she did her best. And even, like, cuando la descansaban, que nomás duraba maybe 2 semanas tops, she did everything she could. Like, we would spend days at the beach. She would, like, let us play hooky and be like, ahora no vayan a la escuela, nos vamos a ir a la playa. Y todo el día nos la pasábamos en la playa. And she did that. And I remember that. And those are, like, some of my best memories. But she was very quiet. Like, she didn't express emotion. She didn't say, I love you. I don't think she hugged us a whole lot. I don't think she hugged me a lot. Maybe she hugged her other children more, but I feel like she didn't hug me, a lot. And I feel like I noticed that, like, I noticed that, like, the affection that I got was from my dad, it wasn't from her. And she was that woman. She was really quiet, but she was like, she had a lot of friends, because all her friends came to her asking her for consejos all the time. And she was like the consejera from her circle, and she always had a lot of friends. Everybody wanted to be her friend. And I was just like, ay, aquí siempre vienen esas señoras. Like, you're my mom. Like, be with me. And the señoras would always come and be like, Mari, Mari, you know, and she's always trying to solve everybody's problems. And she's still to the day, she's that mom and she's that lady. And she didn't show me everything that I learned afterwards. Like the things that I implemented with my daughters was because I did the opposite. And so because she didn't say, I love you, maybe that often. She really didn't say I love you a whole lot. But I told my daughters I love them like every day, like all the time. Like you leave, I love you. We talk, I love you. You know, you go to school, I love you. You come back, I love you. You go to sleep, because I thought it was really important. And I created this environment and these traditions where we say I love you all the time. And so it's bad, but I guess not. I guess I ended up turning something that was bad for me into something that was positive for my children. So I don't see it like, oh, it like fucked me up. Maybe it fucked me up for a little bit, you know? Maybe it fucked me up for a little bit.
¿Qué es el nudo que se te hace? ¿Qué es el nudo que se te hace ahorita?
¿Qué es el nudo que se me hace en mi garganta?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean?
When it comes to your mom, there's something that like se te quiso atorar. Vamos a decir.
I mean, like I think I work really hard on not judging her. I work so hard on not judging her because I find myself like judging her a lot. And I'm just like, why do I do that? You know, why do I judge her so harshly? Like she's been through like a lot. But I think I think there's still like some resentment that I hold about that part, you know, like the little girl, you know, like that little girl that's always like, that comes up. And I think
La Irene chiquita.
Sí, se me hace que la Irene chiquita, like, is like, like, what do you mean? Like, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. It did matter.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't matter. It did matter that you're saying, you're like, she's like telling me, like, you're telling people that it didn't matter, but like, I'm sad. I'm still sad about that, you know? Yeah, like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. That's how I feel.
It still hurts my feelings.
It does. It hurts a little bit. It doesn't take that much space in my life, but I work on it because I can't, you know, but she tries now.
It doesn't take space in your mind or in your heart.
I try not to let it take space in my heart because I want to have my heart open for other things, and I can't give it space. I choose not to give it space. And if I want to be real, then, and if I want to be true, and I'm not like pretending to be something else, and I have to be honest and say, yes, I hold resentment, you know, for a lot of things that I didn't get that I'm still working through. So I'm also working through forgiveness, you know. When I forgive, then I assume that I'm not going to feel that resentment anymore. So then if I'm feeling it, it just means that I need to work on it. I just need to work on it, you know. I hug her, very intentional. My hugs are very intentional with her, and I need to make sure that I'm feeling it when I'm hugging her, because it's still something that I'm like working on. I'm working on it, and I try. So, you know, I'm just being honest. It doesn't mean that it's like butterflies and rainbows when we wake up.
It's a journey, right?
It's a journey.
It's a journey. And it's a lot to process. Porque estás hablando aquí con la reina of me vale madre. Ese era mi síndrome de me vale madre. I don't give a shit. Nada me molesta. And it was just my mind putting it into the me vale madre compartment.
Sí.
Pero mi corazón es el que estaba pesado. And I never listened to it because, you know, it got a little too uncomfortable when I started to listen to it. So por eso te pregunto, the mind or the heart?
Yeah.
Porque son dos cosas bien distintas.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's the heart. Like I know here, but like I don't feel it here, you know? Like it's here. So yeah, I know it's my heart. I know it's my heart. I as a matter of fact, this is how true this was, because before we started recording this podcast, I was at the kitchen and I was having a conversation with my mom, and I said, "Oh, we're gonna record this podcast today. It's gonna be really interesting because it has to do with espejos, and it has to do with our parents." And then she kind of like, and she kind of gave me a look like, And I was just like, it va a ser muy interesante, and I could like kind of like see like her body kind of like it started. Yeah, I triggered something, and I think it's that thing where she doesn't want to hear any negative things that I have to say about her, because I think it hurts her to hear that she did something back when I was a kid or when we were kids. I think it still hurts her. She takes it so personal. Like when I talk about my childhood, and I only talk about mine, I don't even talk about her other children. I talk about mine, and I say, I remember this. And then she'll turn around and be like, no, pues yo no me acuerdo así. And I'm just like, pues no se tiene que acordar usted. Yo me acuerdo. Así pasó. Yo me acuerdo, yo tengo muy buena memoria, like an autobiographical memory about my childhood. And it's just really interesting to observe her, and it's really interesting like to see, what happens with her. But I want to be, I work on being very compassionate with her. And I know that something still is needing to heal in me, because I asked her a question. I said, Mom, Ama, just be really honest with me. Be really honest with me and tell me what your opinion is of what I believe, like my belief system, because she already knows it really clear. And then she gives me her opinion of it, and she's like, well, you believe in whatever you want to believe in. I believe in what I want to believe, pero respétame y yo te respeto a ti. And I was just like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. She's like, tú haces lo que tú haces, and like you do whatever. And I was just like, okay, but then I thought, why am I looking for approval? Why did I ask that question? Why did I ask her that question? Like, what do you think about me? Because when I started analyzing, I'm like, I was looking for her approval, for her to say, oh no, I think you're doing is amazing.
Yeah, tus cuántos años de edad are you looking for your mother's
50
approval?
That's why I'm like, what? Then when I started analyzing, I'm like, I'm 50 years old. I don't need her approval. I don't need anybody's approval. So then work on that, because you're seeking something. Because something still, you need to work on something.
Little Irene still needs her approval.
I
right?
know.
That's the part that we need to bring into your awareness. Es que la pequeña Irene, she's still seeking something. So give la pequeña Irene space to feel and to understand what it is. It's okay.
I know.
We're all going through this journey together. Right?
It's quite the journey. And I'm so grateful. I am so grateful to do this. I'm so grateful for, I tell you all the time how grateful I am for, for the universe, like bringing us together, and me getting to do this, like really, really, like this amazing thing that kind of makes me like feel naked sometimes. Like I feel naked, like exposing myself the way I expose myself. That's big. Like I had to learn how to open up like that, because it's the only way I know how to heal. Like, si yo me quiero curar sola, me tengo que abrir. Like, I have to expose myself. And that's like so hard to do as a human. So hard to do. So,
nosotros, y sobre todo como mujeres, when we look in the mirror, we're like, ay, no me quiero ver. Ay, esa lonja, ay, esa arruga, whatever. Estamos criticando.
Sí.
But when we look into the mirror of our heart, and we look into our heart, ay, Dios mío, ahí sí está bien cabrón. Ahí sí está bien cabrón. But once you start doing it, and you start going through what's in there, all the files, and you start working through it, it becomes easier and lighter and better. Porque ya por fin te sientes libre, y ese peso que sientes encima ahorita, and especially if you have it filed in the me vale madre section of your brain, all of a sudden stops taking up space, and it starts to allow other beautiful things to come in.
Yeah.
That's all we're doing, right?
Exactly. And I think it's beautiful, and I think it's like, I feel so grateful that I get to do this. Like, out of all the millions of people, I get to do this amazing thing that makes me so happy. That this is like the thing that makes me feel alive, and allows me to express like all the things that I have to express, because I have a lot of things to say. I'm just like,
you're doing what brings you joy
so much. I'm trying, like, nobody wants to hear about it anymore around here. I need to find a new audience.
And here we are.
There you go.
Pues, amiga, thank you so very much for opening up, being so vulnerable in this podcast. Porque I know talking about your parents is definitely not easy. Looking at them is hard, y compartir con los listeners todo lo demás is that much harder.
Yeah.
Porque muchas de las veces we don't want our parents to look bad in anybody else's eyes. Queremos protegerlos porque los amamos, and that's usually our instinct.
Right.
But here, we're not pointing the fingers at them. We're learning from them and learning for ourselves and healing on this journey. So, muchas gracias por abrir ese corazón hermoso que tienes.
Ay, gracias. Gracias
Y
a
para
ti.
todos nuestros listeners que nos están escuchando y están aquí limpiándose las lágrimas con nosotras también, I'm going to leave you with a couple of things, with a couple of points of reflection. Take a deep breath in and exhale it out. And remember, you don't have to find the answers. Just let the questions sit in your energy. Pero pregúntate, ¿qué aprendí sobre el amor observando a mi mamá? ¿Qué aprendí sobre el mundo observando a mi papá? What am I still repeating out of loyalty rather than by choice? Y espejito, espejito, ¿qué estoy callando? Take a moment when you're ready to look into that mirror and see yourself and see your parents. Todo lo que han hecho nuestra vida, no matter how we categorize them as good or bad or neutral, is for a reason. When you're ready to look into that mirror, adelante. Amiga, let's wrap this up.
Guys, thank you guys so much for taking a few minutes out of your lives to listen to this, like, híjole, este podcast, este episode, showed a side of me that, like I don't usually share. So se llevan un pedacito de mi corazón con ustedes, and I'm really grateful. I'm so grateful to be here, and I'm really grateful for all the listeners. And thank you. Keep coming back. We are on this journey. We are on this mission to find people that are also on the journey of healing, and together we can heal. If we do this thing together, como que it's less painful. I'm not saying it's not gonna be painful, because it's gonna be painful, but it's kind of like a colchoncito, use as that. We're your buffer, and or your the shoulder to cry on, because it's gonna hurt. It's just gonna hurt. I'm gonna be honest. I'll be real. It's gonna hurt, but it's gonna. Yes, we all cry together, and then we heal together. So that's the amazing thing. So for that, I'm so grateful that you guys listened in to the whole episode and keep coming back. Thank you so much, Liliana, for just existing, girl. I don't even know what else to say. I'm so grateful that you exist, and remember, guys, be kind to everyone. Right now, that's what we need. Our people need kindness. Everybody needs kindness. Yo sé que es muy difícil, pero just reflect before you say it. If it's gonna be hateful, then look at it and know why you're spewing hate. Let's start looking at ourselves. This is the time. This is the time. Like, there is no other time. This is the time. And entonces, we'll see you guys next time. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other, and see you guys next time. I love you.